Welcome to Tularis University. In this video, we'll be showing you how to use the XPressEntry events feature to create and manage events. Now, we assume in this video that you have XPressEntry installed, which you see in the middle of my screen here, and that you have your handheld installed and connected, which you see on the right-hand side of my screen. Now, the events feature is very useful for your organization if you intend to use your existing list, either coming from the access control database or a standalone database which you've installed on your XPressEntry application, or you just have a list of employees that you want or visitors that you want to come for any sort of event. The usefulness of this feature is that the XPressEntry handheld does not require connection to the database live to authenticate people. It's a very neat way to authenticate people in any closed event and be able to see who has access, who doesn't have access, and this will require no additional installations, just an activation of the feature. Now, to activate the events feature, it is not enabled by default, so you have to go into the settings. Let's go to Tools, Settings. I have my settings minimized here. And you go into General. And under the main XPressEntry functions, you enable the Events tab. Hit Save. And this should immediately enable the tab. Now I'll just maximize my screen so you can see properly. The Events tab is here. Click the tab, and you can create a new event. So let's go to Add New at the bottom. And you want to give the event any name that is relevant to this event. Let's say this event is CEO's annual gala. So let's see under this description, this is the gala for all executives. Start date and end date. This will be the start date and end date. You expect this event to start and when you expect it to end. The start time and end time is also when you expect it to start in terms of time and when you expect it to end. And there are many features you can enable in this event, which I'll be describing as we go on in this video. But the next thing to do is to hit save, to save this event, and then to give an attendee list. So you go to the next tab, and now you want to select the people you want to have access to this event. Now, there are many ways you can do this. You can either select the whole company, which you see at the top here. So to select this, you just click the arrow that points towards the right. Or you can select a certain group of people who have access to an area. This could be access groups that are already installed on your access control or private access groups that you created on XPressEntry if it's a standalone installation. So for the access groups, you can pick all those who have access here. Or alternatively, you can select few users, select users, or you can just click all and select all the users. So in this case, I'll just filter users and select a man named John Doe. So you see Doe John. You can filter by name, search through a list if you have a very large list. Select them. I want to select another man named Clement. Yours truly. Select. So it's very flexible in terms of how you want to filter the attendee list. You can either do it quickly by picking groups or a company or individual users. Now, after selecting the attendee list, the next thing is to hit save. And your event is now ready. Now I'll just minimize here so you can see what's going on the handheld. So on the handheld, you want to switch into events mode. Now the events mode is also not enabled by default. So to have it enabled on the handheld, you have to go into Tools and Settings again on the server, here and here. So we still have our settings minimized here. And on the settings, you want to go to handheld functionality. And you want to make sure that enable event is checked. Hit save. And on the handheld side, you want to ensure that this handheld is synced. So you can hit the up and down arrow to sync. And now your events should be there on the handheld. To go into the events section, hit switch mode and select events mode. Now you should see all the upcoming events that are active on the device. Now in this case, I want to activate the CEO's annual gala. Select the event that you want to enable and click begin event. This is how simple it is. Once you've begun the event, people can just come into the event by flashing their card, and you should get an access granted or an access denied, depending on if this person has access. So you should get a access granted or not an events list if you have a person who is not invited. Now, there are other features you can use on the events side of the XPressEntry application, and one of these things is to prevent multiple entries. Now, if you want people to only enter into the events once, you can set this. So I'll just maximize my screen again. And if we go back to the info section, there is a feature that says single scan enabled. Now, if you enable this feature, this says that anybody who has come into the event once would only have access to enter just one time. Now hit save. And I'll just minimize so you can see what's going on the handheld. Make sure your handheld is synced. Now just try to scan someone who has come in before. Let's see what happens. Now you see the device will immediately say prior entry recorded. And this will be the case for anybody who has already gained access into this event so that people cannot pass back their cards or allow a buddy to come into the event. Now, there are other things you can do with this feature. Once your event is done, you may want to know who attended the event. Now, on the XPressEntry application here, you can see we have an attendee report. This tells you everything that happened in the event, who came in, who tried to access more than once, who was allowed, who was denied. It gives you a comprehensive report which you can actually export to CSV. And I'll just save that on document here, say events. And this is easily accessible on your PC. You can save to CSV and open that event and present this to your management and do whatever you want to do with it. It could be a training, you want to keep it for records or for payroll, whatever you want to do. But it's very flexible in terms of reporting and in terms of keeping the data. Now, imagine you've had so many events and there are so many, as you can see, I have a lot of events I've done in the past, and you have maybe 100 events and you don't want to see them just displayed there. We have a means to archive your events so you don't see them just displayed on the screen. And all you need to do is to go back into the info section, select the events you want to archive, and just hit archive here and hit save. So immediately you hit save, that event will be taken out. As you can see, that particular event has gone out. And if you want to access that event, all you need to go is the top bottom left of your screen, hit show archived, and you should see any archived event. Now, if you like to group your events to make them neater, possibly you have an event that happens every month. Let's say you have a monthly training and you want to group them all together. So let's say I'll pick HSC mandatory training on the left here. And let's say I want to add a new training that is called HSC 2. I'll save this, call another one HSC 3. Let's add a new one. And let's say this event happen once every month. And I want to group them all together. You can group this by selecting your parent event. So I'll just select HSC annual training and hit save and go to HSC2 and select parent event again and put it HSC mandatory training, hit save. Now you see on the left-hand side that they're all now grouped under HSC mandatory training. This is neat because if you have a lot of events, you may want to group them so that you can easily access them and the attendee reports. And it's a neat way to just make your whole system neat, especially if you have a lot of events. Now this brings an end to the demonstration of the XPressEntry event feature. We hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please feel free to reach out to us at helpdesk@Telarus.com for any technical queries or sales@Telarus.com for any product inquiries. Thank you.